I don't really know what it was. I've always had a bit of a penchant for scoring goals. Never a prolific scorer, maybe living in college. But I did always have, even when I was younger, have an ability to score goals late in games and to score goals in games that were tight, either tying or going ahead. I don't really know why, other than the fact that I'm very competitive and I want to win. And when my team's not winning, I think my efforts get increased. Not that I don't try hard all the time, but it's just there's something about those moments that you find something extra, and that's the only way I can explain it. Well, the 2008 run in the playoffs is definitely a great experience. You know, we had a tough year, with a lot of ups and downs, and to go into the playoffs and start off against the defending champions, Houston. I was able to start in all those games in the playoff runs, and to get some great results during that run was great. To be a part of the final was pretty amazing. I had a chance in 2000 to be a part of the MLS Cup with Chicago, but I wasn't playing at the time, so I always thought, you know, sitting on it, kind of being around the outside of that, seeing all the stuff that went on, that it would be great to be a bigger part on the field, and I was very grateful to have that opportunity. Obviously, it's a little sour that the game didn't go the way we wanted, but it was definitely a great experience. And then another experience was definitely my goal against Columbus in 2003. I've told the story a number of times. People still come up to me and ask me about that goal. But there are just so many side stories and stuff to it that it was just a tremendous day that I'll never forget. In the week heading up to that game, I was in the starting lineup. You know, I was planning to start in 2003. It kind of started half the games, I think, maybe a little less. So I wasn't in the starting lineup a lot. So I was pretty excited to play. You know, I came in that day, you know, a couple hours before game time, and Bob pulled me aside and said, you know, I'm sorry, but I'm going with someone else, and I was going to sit on the bench. It was kind of disappointing to me because it was one of the few times that I told my friends that I was starting, because I always knew that, you know, things can change. So I always tell my mom and my friends that, you know, I might start, I might not, looks like I might, but I'll never say for sure. And that time I did. And from then on, I never did. So I had a bunch of friends at the game, probably about 40 friends. And 2003 was the year I came back to New York, so it was kind of new at the time for me to be playing in New York, and they were all excited to come. They bought a bunch of t-shirts, spelled out Wolyniec on it. They sat in the mezzanine level right across from the bench and chanted, "We want Wolyniec" for 90 minutes. And I sat on the bench embarrassed the whole time because, you know, I think they expected me to play, and they were pretty upset. And they let Bob and everybody else in the stadium know it. It was 0-0 the whole way, and at that time you played 2 5-minute overtime periods, golden goal. And Clint Mathis actually took himself out of the game with a slight injury or fatigue. I forget exactly what it was. But I know Bob came over to me and asked, you know, told me that I was going in, and I was, you know, it's tough because you think, oh, what am I going to do in 10 minutes, you know? But it came down to about the 99th minute, and we got a foul about midfield. Mario Guevara, one of the best players I ever played with, got over the ball, and I just knew he was going to put a ball in a spot that would have a chance. As soon as he hit it, I took off, and it was just one of those things where I was almost at a dead sprint, and just if I was half a second later, half a second earlier, it just wouldn't have met the right way. And I still never saw the ball go in because, you know, I guess it was one of those things where I was going away from goal and I was so focused on the ball, I just never saw it go in. And then you can see in the film I kind of lost my mind. But it was definitely the best goal I've ever scored, and to do it with all my friends there, and it was basically my only touch of the game. And you know, I first ran one way and then remembered that my friends were on the other side, so I had to run back the other way. Faked out a few people on the way. But definitely probably the best on the field single moment that I've had playing. Motto, I mean, he and I had a pretty good connection. I'm sure, I never did the stats, but I'm sure he has a number of assists on my goals, probably more than anybody. He's a tremendous player, one of the best passers that I've played with. And I played with Clint Mathis, one of the best players I've seen. He's a tremendous all-around player. To retire the same year as him is an honor. He went down a little earlier than I did, but I remember early on in my career, I played with Christos Stoichkov, who was one of my idols growing up. Watched him in '94, '95, I think both years. He was Footballer of the Year. Watched him in the '94 World Cup in Giant Stadium. So that was tremendous to be able to play with him and actually come in for him a couple games. And then obviously Juan Pablo Angel. The guy's been a tremendous asset, not only at Red Bull, but to the MLS. To score that many goals in a short period of time is pretty incredible. And to watch him work off the field was definitely something I'll remember. Those are my thoughts right off the bat. Well, my favorite was the 2003 goal against Columbus. That was my favorite celebration, just because I looked foolish. Not that I didn't look foolish on the other celebrations, but people's favorite, and I still get people asking me about it, is the goal against Houston in the playoffs and my subsequent Michael Jackson impersonation. First thing I say to people when they ask me is that it was a bet. It was not my idea. It's just sometimes when people challenge you to do things, pride steps in and you refuse to tell people that you can't do something. But I did make a little bit of money on it, so thank you, Sean Oliver. Pretty happy that went the way it did. I still get people asking me about it and to take pose for pictures and stuff, so it's a little more than I asked for, but you know, fun story all in all.